All right, so all through your education, two things were happening. You're reading every book on astronomy and astrophysics, and at the same time, you were going to places where, for example, the conventions that you wanted to go to. When the people went to the Flying Saucer pavilion there, and then they would come over to your pavilion or your booth there, and they would say, well, what do you think about what they're saying? You were always the one that was answering the questions. And this continued all through your university and even through PhD. Tell me what happened when you were working on your PhD.
What happened when I was at the University of Toronto getting my PhD is that there were 3 of us graduate students logging a lot of time on the telescope. And there were 2 astronomers who were taking maybe 3 or 4 hours per year in the telescope. Every time they got on the telescope, they saw a UFO. And us 3 graduate students were saying, look, we're logging way more time than they are. We never see UFOs. But what I realized, the difference between them and us, they were both into the occult. We were not. So that's when I first began to think maybe there's a connection between people seeing UFOs and their occult experiences.
Yeah. Now, I want to do 2 questions here. One has to do with the fact that what science was bringing you to, you are not a Christian. And the fact is, I want to talk about that question. But before we do that, there's some people saying, don't you realize that the definition of UFOs keeps on changing?
Yes.
And for the folks that are listening to what Congress is debating right now, Congress is using the word UAP for unidentified anomalous phenomena or unidentified aerial phenomenon. And then you've got RUFOs. What's RUFOs?
Those are the residual UFOs. It's a term that we coined at Reasons to Believe for those UFOs that cannot be explained by natural phenomena, hoaxes pulled off by students, or military activity that's being kept secret.
The definition keeps changing, and why do you think they keep changing the definition?
Well, I think they wanted to go from flying objects to aerial phenomena.
From flying saucers, basically.
Yeah, because aerial phenomena is a broader scope, and so that's why I think they've adopted that term.